Almighty God, who, in thy infinite wisdom and providential goodness, has appointed the offices of rulers and councils for the welfare of society and the just government of man, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us, thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in thy presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. All which we ask in the name and for the sake of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Good morning.
Obituary and congratulatory remarks.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I beg your indulgence. I would like to propose a motion before we proceed.
Okay, what's the motion?
Madam Speaker, having regard to Standing Orders 16 and 17, I wish to move that the order of business of this sitting be varied to provide for private members' business to be taken immediately after the announcements by Speaker and before presentation of papers and of reports from committees. And I further seek, Madam Speaker, your consent and that of this Honorable House to notice their dispensed with pursuant to Standing Order 32.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Okay, you have my consent provided that the House agrees. So I'm going to put the motion to the House. You have it written that I can. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded by the Honorable Prime Minister that having regard to Standing Orders 16 and 17, that the order of the House be varied so that the business of this sitting be varied to provide for private members' business to be taken immediately after announcements by Speaker and before the presentation of papers and of reports from committees. And I seek your, committees. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Seems unanimous. So, can we continue then?
Confirmation of minutes of meeting of Tuesday 26th, Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th, and Friday 29th July 2016.
The minutes to be confirmed. Just a minute, the clerk. Yes, the motion for the confirmation of minutes.
Madam Speaker, I beg that the minutes of the meetings of Tuesday 26th, Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th, and Friday 29th July 2006 be confirmed as circulated.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the minutes of the meeting of Tuesday 26th, Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th, and Friday 29th July be confirmed as circulated. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
Announcements by Speaker.
Just briefly, I have announcements to make, but I'll do so later. What I want to inform the House is that I received 2 letters from 2 members, and I will read so that the contents can be known when I read the letters. The first one comes from Honorable Saint-Jean, Minister of Education and Human Resource Development. Pardon? He's there? Also, it's over. Okay. He was asking because he would have attended the graduation, I take it. Okay, so he's here. And then now, he was asking permission to be absent. The other one came from Senator Dr. Thompson Fountain, but he's informing me, and this is what I want to let members know. The rules say that you must request permission from the Speaker if you want to get a reply to say that yes, the permission is granted. But I'm being told to note that. I note, and the member is saying that he will be absent from the House of Assembly because he's unable to get to Dominica in time for the meeting. Then, of course, I always do so at the first day of a meeting to inform the public that the proceedings are being carried live by audio and video. I think most people know that they are carried live by audio and video, by audio, but video, of course, you can do that through DigiPlay and mapping. DigiPlay, I think, is channel 2 and mapping channel 7. And then, of course, you can also get it through YouTube. So you can do video. Those persons who reside overseas can follow the proceedings live on video through YouTube. I don't have the link with me yet, but when it comes to me, I will make the announcement so that persons who are listening by radio who want to view it by YouTube will be able to do so. Okay? This is the end of the announcements. So just one moment, please. Come. So we're going to take, yes.
Private members' business motion.
Whereas the Honorable Prime Minister has mismanaged the economy of the Commonwealth of Dominica, as evidenced by rising unemployment, sharp declines in the performance of agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, construction and service sectors, an increase in the trade deficit, and a massive national debt, be it resolved that this Honorable House expresses its lack of confidence in the leadership of the Prime Minister, Honorable Roseau. Madam Speaker, as the elected member for the Margaret constituency and the leader of the opposition in this honorable parliament, I felt it was necessary, after witnessing the years of stagnation and decline in the Dominica economy, under the watch of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, who has also held the portfolio of Minister of Finance, that it was time for this Parliament to address the failures of the honourable member with regard to the issues involved in growing an economy that can satisfy the needs of the people of Dominica. So, Madam Speaker, to repeat, whereas the Honorable Prime Minister has mismanaged the economy of the Commonwealth of Dominica, as evidenced by rising unemployment, sharp declines in the performance of the agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, construction, and service sectors, an increase in the trade deficit, and a massive national debt, be it resolved that this Honorable House expresses its lack of confidence in the leadership of the Prime Minister, Honorable Roseau.
Madam Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Madam Speaker, the effective management of the economy of Dominica has been reduced to a laughing matter by the members of the other side of Parliament who are satisfied with achieving the worst economic management performance results over the last 10 years in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. It's something that they scoff at, it's something that they scorn when observations are made about where we are and where we should have been had we pursued more enlightened, more visionary economic development policies. And had we been more diligent, had we been more responsible in our management of the affairs of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Madam Speaker, for the years that this economy has been under the leadership of the Prime Minister, we have seen stagnation. Yes, the revenues of the government have grown. They have grown through the imposition of VAT, and they have grown through the collection of more revenues from the Economic Citizenship Program. So you would have seen $100+ million added on to the revenue from the time he came in to right now. What has been the effect of those increased revenues in the government coffers for the people of Dominica? And when you see that sort of increase, Madam Speaker, you would want to believe that is increase that happened because in an expanding economy that is more efficient, the government is picking up additional taxes from normal, existing, stable rates. That's not what is happening. It's not that the economy is growing. It's that the people of Dominica have been taxed more in the same overburdened economy, and revenues from the sale of passports have buffered the situation, so to speak. But the economy has stagnated. It has not provided more jobs. We have not seen an expansion in investments in the productive sector. And our Dominicans, people, especially the young Dominicans, have not been able to find work. So employment is a problem. New investments is a problem. Growing the economy, getting vibrant economic activity going in the country remains a problem. And the members on the other side of the House are proud of that, because they have gotten to a stage in Dominica where they no longer understand what it means for people to suffer, what it means for people to struggle to make ends meet, because that is not their lot in life anymore. They are doing well. The economy is catching hell, but they are doing well. And they have this mistaken view, led by the Prime Minister, that the revenue and expenditure performance of the government is the economy. It is not. And so, in opening the debate on this matter, Madam Speaker, I want to point to the fact that an area of growth like cruise tourism, which we touted many years ago, even before this Prime Minister took over the reins of the economy from the public sector management point of view, which in 2006, after he was there on the job for 2 years,
had reached 400,000 passengers. At that time, our neighbor up north, St. Kitts, had only 200,000 passengers coming to the country. We were twice the size of St. Kitts in 2006. And in the next 10 years, under the watch of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, St. Kitts grew to 1 million visitors, 1 million passengers a year. Dominica declined from 400,000 to less than 400,000. So now we have a situation where the cruise product in St. Kitts and Nevis is paying for a lot more employment. It is having a much bigger effect on economic activity in St. Kitts and Nevis than Dominica. More people are being employed, more revenues are coming into St. Kitts and Nevis, and partly because of that growth, we see St. Kitts, our neighbor up north, and we like to tell ourselves that we're doing so much better than others. St. Kitts operates with a minimum wage of $1,200 a month. The minimum wage in Dominica, absolutely no attention has been paid to it since the government has been operating. Madam Speaker, I would appreciate if the gentleman on the other side kept his comments to himself and reserved them for when the Parliament allows him to speak. He was the one who came here this morning and moved that the matter to do with private members' business comes up on the agenda. So the least he can do is to give us an opportunity to be heard without being disturbed. Madam Speaker, so we have a situation where, on an example in the growth engine of the economy, cruise tourism, a neighbor in the Caribbean Sea has done so much better than us when they were doing worse than us 10 years ago. What we talk about when we talk about growth in the economy is precisely that you're able to take an engine and see it move along and do more things, generate more employment, generate more dollars, generate more opportunities for people. That's how it works as the government seeks to partner and do more things progressively with the private sector. But we have not seen that. We have seen stagnation. We have seen stagnation to the point where today in 2016, we are still complaining about something called scale. So we don't have economies of scale. Well, economies of scale are very interesting, you know. You either have, if people who are living in your country, while the economy is not growing, are getting the same wages, and they have to spend those wages on more expensive things, then the quality of life is going down. But you can have a situation where if your economy is growing, more people are getting employment, more people are being employed in good jobs, then they have more money to spend. And so, having more money to spend gives more people opportunities to buy goods and services, gives more people opportunity to produce those goods and services, and gives the economy a chance to grow. But you see, we have not been doing that in Dominica. The economy in Dominica, as much as we try to fool ourselves that it is growing, it really has not grown. It has not grown to the point where we can employ our own. So we're still in a situation where, after so many years and so many years of boastful announcements about how wonderfully well we're doing, we still cannot employ our own. Many more people are leaving Dominica to go to Antigua to be employed on an annual basis because they can't find employment here. So what has been the record of this last 12 years under the watch of this Prime Minister? What has been the record? The record shows that clearly we are not moving at all. And in some cases, you're regressing. Even though we have more money to play with, we're still not doing much with the money that we have. Now, Madam Speaker, we just looked at the situation regarding the cruise tourism product. There's a former minister of government who reminded us recently on the issue of scale that in his business where he's selling wines, the wines that he takes a year to sell in Dominica, he will sell them, a competitor, a counterpart in Antigua will sell them in a month. His evidence to the people of Dominica is that the counterpart in Antigua is doing 12 times better than him in terms of sales of a product called wines. He also tells us that in one good restaurant in Antigua on one night, you will find the amount of people dining there, which represents the total amount of people that will be dining on all the restaurants in Dominica combined on one night. And he says that is happening because we don't have scale. And I say that, I take that to mean that we don't have a lot of visitors coming to Dominica to overnight and to spend money. And more than that, we don't have a lot of Dominicans with the disposable income to go out and dine at these restaurants, as is the case in Antigua. And so, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding all the talk about the growing economy and how well this government is doing, the reality on the ground is that the economy is suffering and really nothing is happening. In its attempt to deal with these issues, Madam Speaker, we've seen the Prime Minister all over the shop. We've seen the Prime Minister, we've seen the Prime Minister appointing all sorts of ambassadors all over the world, giving the impression that what he's really doing is trying to expand economic opportunity, trying to grow the pie in Dominica so that more people can benefit. In fact, what we have ended up with is a whole series of questionable characters hurting the image of Dominica in the international community. While the Prime Minister hands them our diplomatic passports, he hands them diplomatic privileges of immunity, etc., to do whatever they want to do with diplomatic rank and diplomatic status. We see no benefit, no economic benefit from these engagements.
I just need to let you know that when you impute improper motive, it is wrong and it's against the rules of the House.
You're part of the debate now, Madam Speaker?
I am, excuse me?
I just asked whether you were part of the debate.
I find your question very rude.
Oh, yes?
But
I find your intervention very out of order.
I am telling you, you will listen to me because this is what I'm here for. Okay? And just because you think that you're having your day doesn't mean that you can
What day are you talking about, Madam Speaker? What day are you talking about? Having what day?
I am telling you, you have imputed improper motive. You are to cease and desist. You know very well what you have said, and you know very well because you are a wise person, you're an intelligent person, and I think you know very well when you are imputing improper. And I'm telling you, the rules say you can't do it. I am the one that has to advise the House. And I will tell you what standing order, because I just want you to refer to two particular standing orders, okay, which actually say that it is the Speaker who has to inform the House when it goes amiss, okay? So I'll refer you to Standing Order 86, 1 and 2, and Standing Order 49. Please apprise yourself of them to see that when I intervene, as the rules, these two rules tell me to do, it is rude of you to suggest that I'm getting into the debate. You're being absolutely rude and out of place, and you should be made aware of that. Continue.
Madam Speaker, I was about to inquire whether that was you or whether that was the demon in you, but I will not go down that road.
And again, I'm going to tell you, you apologize to the chair before you say one further word.
Madam Speaker,
you apologize
you sat in that chair and said to this honorable
referred to me as something having a demon in me, and I'm telling you, if
Madam
you don't
Speaker,
apologize to the chair, you will not be permitted to say one other word.
Madam Speaker, you sat.
I am telling you, you know.
I'm saying that you sat in the honorable chair and said to the House of Assembly that the demon in you is ordering a member to sit down. You said that, not me. What is your beef right now? You said you have a demon in you that caused you to ask somebody else to sit down. I'm asking you now whether the demon in you is operating or whether it is you. That's all I'm asking. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Those are your words. I'm not apologizing for it.
Impression that the member has concluded his contribution to his motion.
The member has not concluded. The member would like to continue, but you keep interrupting the member in a very in a very ad hoc manner. I don't understand what these interventions are about. Can I continue, Madam Speaker? I'm not apologizing.
Well,
I'm not apologizing. I am not apologizing for words that you have mentioned in this House. I'm not doing it. So, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker,
remember, I don't know.
I am not sorry for quoting accurately the Speaker of the House. I asked whether you're sorry for correctly quoting what the Speaker says. No. I'm not doing that.
Madam Speaker, on a point of order.
Yes, your point of order.
The honourable member who was on his feet, the honourable member for Margaret, the leader of the opposition, to Standing Order 50, and in particular, Madam Speaker, 50 sub 3. I'll not read it, Madam Speaker. Perhaps you may wish to do so. But that sub-order and subsequent is relevant to be noted. I simply say this. Standing Order 50, sub 3, paragraph 3 then. If a member shows disregard for the authority of the chair or abuses the rules of the House by persistently and willfully obstructing the business of the House, or otherwise, the Speaker or the Chairman shall direct the attention of members to the incident, mentioning by name the member concerned. Whenever a member has been so named by the Speaker or by the Chairman, then you can read the rest yourselves. It's up to the member to decide how we want to deal with it.
I take it that the members have apprised themselves of the contents of Standing Order 50. Unfortunate for the member who, at first blush, when I stopped him from doing something which he was wrong to do, suggested that because I was leading him to what the rules say, decided to tell me that I was taking part in the debate, which was rude of him to do. I pointed out to the member that I have a general authority under Standing Order 86, 1 and 2 to conduct the business of the House. I also pointed him to Standing Order 49, where the Speaker in the House or the Chair in committee shall be responsible for the observance of rules of the House. The member then suggests that I have a demon in me and says because I said it at some other point, that it's okay for him to say so. What the member does not realize is that I was responding to something one of his side said, and he now cannot say that I have a demon in me, which is exactly what he said. And I think I am within my right, both as Speaker and as a Member of Parliament, to point out to him that he is using unparliamentary language towards me, and that he was rude to suggest that I have a demon in me, and I called on him to apologize. And I'm further stating that when he apologizes, he can continue. If he's not willing to continue, then can the next member rise to support his motion, please? The member has to realize there's a big difference between being in front of a council and being in Parliament. There's a big difference, and I don't think he has ever taken note of that. So.
Madam Speaker, just asking a question. Are you going to allow me to conclude the introduction, the presentation of this motion to the Parliament or not?
As soon as you apologize.
No, well, I'm not apologizing.
Oh, well, then will the next person stand to speak? No, member, you cannot just be rude to the chair like this. You know, people are not only hearing, they're listening. They're seeing. And that is manifestly wrong of you. Are there any other persons who are going to speak? The member does not appear to wish to speak. Can the debate continue, please? You know, it is sad that members don't even realize when they do something that's not right. They just don't even realize it. Any members going to speak?
Madam Speaker, if I may. Madam Speaker, if I may, in the interest of... Madam Speaker, in the interest of productivity, if I may, the Leader of the Opposition has put a motion before the House. There seems to be nobody on his side willing to support the motion. I would humbly suggest to the Honourable House that the motion be put to the House for a vote, so that we can move on with the business of the House.
There is a suggestion before the House that the Leader of the Opposition, I'm waiting on the other members to support the Leader of the Opposition. It's being suggested. One moment, please. Members, please. Members, please. The member brought a motion. It was seconded. So I take it to mean that the person who seconded the motion must speak before I allowed somebody else to rise. You understand? So I do think...
I'm ready to speak when my leader is allowed to complete his presentation.
But
Stop
you're
denying him his presentation.
you're
Your
hard of
word
hearing.
sits in the records of the parliament.
But well, then you must persuade him to do the right thing.
He cannot apologize for something you said the demons in you asked me to take my seat. You said it is on the record of the House. It is how he can apologize for that. He cannot apologize for that. You said it. It's on the record of
The member...
It's on the record of the House that the demon in you asked me to take my seat. You asking him to apologize for that? He cannot apologize for the truth. How many people in Dominica care about truth? You said it. It's on the record.
The member...
Truth is truthful, or you cannot...
The member...
Try to trample it.
Will you be silent momentarily so I can tell you something? The circumstances under which they said is a matter of history and well documented. The fact of the matter is, even if I were to say something about myself, okay, does that mean somebody else is free to say it? No, he did not quote me. He said it outright.
And the record will show that it's you.
Well, I am going to spend another 15 minutes with how much? I have 7 minutes to wait again.
Madam Speaker, can I arise? The House cannot and ought not to be held hostage. This is a parliament. I sit here time after time. The fact is, every institution, every organization has rules. If we're not going to follow the rules, we may as well dispense with them. We have rules. The members on the opposite side may have their views, they may agree with you, they may disagree with you. For the time being, you are the umpire, the referee, however you want to describe it. You are the speaker. This business of us coming into this house, time after time, demonstrating to the populace and to the world total disrespect and misbehavior is really unacceptable. I see guys on the other side, or I should say honorable members on the other side, looking at me with grins and smiles. It's grow up. This is time for us to stop this nonsense. Time for us to stop this nonsense. I'm not the referee of the House. The speaker is the
Can the
referee.
member please be quiet?
I referred the House to Standing Order 50, which all members in the House, I presume, can read, and so they're free to read it for themselves. There's no harm in this House being robust. All parliaments are robust. This is not the only parliament in the world. There's no problem. As I say, this is big people business, but it has to operate in an orderly manner. And I am standing here now because I have come to the point that I am really fed up with coming to this house and seeing the sort of foolishness that we are tolerating. And this morning is an example of it. I fully understand that the members may disagree with the Speaker. They're entitled to disagree with the Speaker. But there is a way and a means to do what we want to do. And as a word of advice to the Leader of the Opposition, a member for Marigot, which he hasn't asked me for, it's unsolicited, but I offer it. You may not agree with the Speaker. You may be right. You may be wrong. But the point is, in this House, the Speaker is the person who we have put in. We have put the Speaker there, and until she's removed, the simple thing to have done would have been to apologize and go on and say whatever you're saying. It happens every day in the
You're
court.
planning to remove her?
Ask, I don't know if he's still your member, but member for Roseau South. I don't know if he's still a member. Member for Roseau South. Ask him what happens when he's in the court and he disagrees with the judge. What does he do? So, Madam Speaker, I just say this because I think, and I'm saying this to all of us, I think we need to act with a little more decorum in this place.
Will the member, if he has to say something, stand? This crosstalk is not helpful at all.
Madam Speaker, I just want to say that I'm in support with the Attorney General, Mr. Peters. And in terms of saying that we in this House should be more respectful to each other on either side. And I'm happy that we begin to understand what we are going through on this side of the House. We have been doing our best, Madam Speaker, in this House and the challenges that we continue to face to make our contribution in this House. I'm happy that my colleague from the Attorney General begin to understand what we're going through on this side of the House. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, let me, a small intervention. A small intervention. I am a parent, a mother of 3. And I understand that as a mother, I have a right to exercise my authority. But there are situations where I'm not always right. Authority does not mean that we are always right. And there are some situations where we just have to be humble and admit that, you know, there's no right or wrong in this situation. I think what the honorable leader of the opposition said was it's not untruthful. And there should be no reason why he should apologize for speaking the truth. So, Madam Speaker, I honestly don't see the reason.
Okay, let me just tell you. It might be the truth that somebody does something, but the rules say that you can't say it in Parliament. And that's where we become unglued. That's the point. You understand? And the fact is, I made a rule. He said something before. He accused me of taking part in the debate because I was doing my duty. The member, oh my. Okay. The question ought not to have been asked at all. The question was out of place. Anyway, I just have to point out, as I normally do, you have 5 minutes more to conclude your debate.
Madam Speaker,
At the end of the 5 minutes, I will do what is necessary.
Madam Speaker, can I raise on a point of clarification?
A point of clarification?
Yes, seeking clarification on the issue here. I was late on my apologies for being late.
Well, I suggest you ask one of your members because I think they would be truthful to tell you what transpired.
Madam Speaker,
I wouldn't want to tell you anything that from my perspective. I think you better get it from them.
On the motion before the House.
Pardon?
I'm seeking clarification on the matter before the House. My understanding that there is a motion before the House, a private member motion, which was led by the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. He was speaking on the issue, and there is a matter before the where you asking for an apology, and he has taken his position. So you are suggesting to him that if he does not apologize, then he cannot continue, which suggests that if you insist that he cannot continue, someone else can make their contribution.
Yes.
Is it a matter of fact that members of the government, it has to be members on the opposition side who must continue? Can members on the government side also continue?
I don't know if you heard me when I said to a member that can I speak, please? In the scheme of things, a person puts a motion before the House. It is seconded. In other words, somebody from the same side agrees with that before it goes on. So therefore, I am waiting for that seconder to speak, and then and the other side will speak. That is how it happens normally.
Madam Speaker, under which rule of the House that the seconder must speak after the one who moved the motion?
I never said there was a rule. I'm simply saying it's a practice. I never suggested it was a rule. But the thing is, you are the one who brought the motion. You are to make your case. If the government feels that there's nothing that they have to answer to, then so be it.
In my humble opinion, Madam Speaker,
so this is
your conclusion there is tantamount to my opinion, insulting your members of the opposition. In terms of understanding how the rule works. There's no rule which says that.
I agreed with you, there's no rule.
Those on the government side who
But I have agreed with you.
On the opposition side must continue. We have seen many occasions where motions have been moved.
I have absolutely agreed with you.
So why is it that the others on the other side can stand up and speak, and it has to be from that side?
But you haven't listened to a word that I said. I am agreeing with you. I am simply saying to you that it could well be that the government side feels that they have nothing to answer to yet. I can make them speak. You brought a motion, you have to defend your motion. If they feel that there's nothing for them, I can make them speak. So I would suggest that you all get on with your motion. You're all here. Get on with your business so that they can speak. But you do understand. I think you yourself realize that what you said there is not making much sense. Because you're smiling. I think so. So we are 2 minutes away from the time that was allocated because the member had 3/4 of an hour. I am deliberately not declaring the time free for somebody else to speak until the time has arrived. Okay? So in 1 minute's time, if nobody else is speaking, I will wait another couple minutes. Then I'll put it to the vote. I don't have a choice. Okay. Okay, the time that was allocated to the leader of the opposition to speak is now up, and I am calling on any other member who wishes to speak to do so. I will give you all 3 minutes. After that, I'll put the motion to the vote. I'll give you 3 minutes for you to decide. As I said, the motion is before the House for debate. I'll wait another minute to see if no member rises. I'll make my last call. The motion is now before the House for debate. And there being no other member wishing to speak, I have to call the motion to the House. And I would need to remind members that only elected members can vote. Only elected members can vote. Well, can show of hands also. Be it resolved that this honorable House expresses its lack of confidence in the leadership of the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit. Those in favor? Those against? I haven't heard no. Those in favor? Those against? No. The noes have it. The motion has been defeated. Now, just one. Yeah.
Madam Speaker, may I have a division on this?
Okay. The clerk, are you familiar with?
Honorable,
Please,
Honorable Dr.
can we have the division? Can the member point out? No, I'm giving him a chance to tell me where. Refer me to the rules, please, so that I can be guided. No, this is not a laughing matter, you know, members. He may well. So can we go ahead and have the division? Okay, go ahead and do the division, please.
Honorable Dr. Roseau Skerrit, member for Vickers.
No.
Elected
Honorable
members,
Minister
elected members.
Yeah. Honorable Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment, Mr. Ian Douglas.
No.
Honorable Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Mr. Raymond Blackmore.
No.
Honorable Minister for Planning, Economic Development and Investment, Dr. John Colin McIntyre.
No.
Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Mr. Peter Seja.
No.
Honorable Minister for Health and Environment, Dr. Kenneth Daru.
No.
Honorable Minister for Youth, Sports, Culture and Constituency Empowerment, Mrs. Justina Charles.
No.
Honorable Minister for Information Science, Telecommunication and Technology, Mr. Kelvin Daru.
No.
Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Mr. Johnson Drago.
No.
Honorable Minister for Cardinal Affairs, Mr. Cassius Daru.
No.
Honorable Minister for Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development, Ms. Rosalind Paul.
No. Forgot the Parliamentary Secretary.
Honorable Minister for Honorable Member for Soufriere Constituency, Ms. Dennis A. Charles.
No.
Honorable Minister for Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs, Ms. Lady Catherine Daniel.
No. Parliamentary Secretary. You forgot him.
Maybe somebody.
Yeah, sorry. The part. Sorry. The Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Mr. Ivor Stevenson.
No.
The Honourable Member for Marigot Constituency and Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Lennox Linton. Honourable Member for Saltville Constituencies, Mr. Hector John. Honourable Member for Wesley Constituency, Mr. Iskel Basil. Honourable Member for the Roseau North Constituency, Mr. Daniel Lugue. Honourable Member for the Roseau South Constituency, Mr. Joshua Francis.
Abstain.
Honourable.
He's not there. They just say it as it is. But
there were 14 noes on the motion and 1 abstention. Questions? Just one more.
Unofficial notices. Yes. Yes. Unofficial notices, then questions. Oh, you want a presentation? Oh, okay, well, continue with the other paper as is then. Continue with the other paper as is.
Presentation of papers.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the following papers. 1, schedule of supplementary appropriation for the financial year of July 2015 to June 2016. 2, value of the tax amendment regulations 2016. 3, Social Security Benefit Amendment Regulations 2016. And 4, report of the Director of Audit on the audit of public accounts for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2013.
government notices.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I will be moving the motion and taking all stages of the bills standing in my name on the other paper.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the later stage of the proceedings, I'll be taking all the stages of the bills, the Sexual Offences Amendment Act, Bill 2016, the Companies Amendment Bill 2016, and on the first reading of the bill.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the stage of the proceedings, I will be taking all stages of the bill standing in my name.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I'll be taking all stages of the bill standing in my name on the order paper.
Unofficial notices.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the later stage of the proceedings, I will be asking the question standing in my name on the order paper.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice. At the later stage of the proceedings, I'll be asking the question standing in my name on the order paper.
Questions?
Will the Honorable Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs inform this Honorable House as follows? Will 1. The names of all persons who are not members of Parliament issued with diplomatic passports of the Commonwealth of Dominica and/or diplomatic status on behalf of the Commonwealth of Dominica from July 1st, 2000 to June 30th, 2016, along with the dates of issue of the diplomatic passports and the commencement date of the diplomatic engagement. The names of all persons holding such diplomatic passports that have been cancelled and/or withdrawn prior to expiration, and the dates, reasons for such cancellation or withdrawal.
Madam Speaker. Sorry. Madam Speaker, the government of Dominica has instituted an enviable foreign policy formula that sees this country enjoying a physical and visible presence in key economic and political centers of the world without having to establish and maintain costly embassies or diplomatic offices. Ever since assuming office in 2000, this government has appointed upstanding citizens of Dominica and various countries to serve as honorary consuls, consuls general, and other strategic positions, representing Dominica without remuneration and at absolutely no cost to this country. Several of these individuals have channeled direct and indirect investments to Dominica and have promoted and represented this country with distinction, without once tendering an invoice for recovery of a single cent of expenses. This approach has given Dominica a competitive advantage in several countries in Europe, Asia, Africa, and further afield. It's a presence that Dominica could not otherwise afford and also from which it benefits immensely. The government has never, as a rule, publicized sensitive details of these appointments outside of the corresponding country to which persons are engaged. Effective foreign policy is never practiced in the media or the public domain. While the government would have no difficulty sharing the number of diplomatic appointments and postings established, it remains opposed to the idea of divulging detailed information on all appointees in a forum that is essentially public in nature and to which the entire world has access.
Madam Speaker, is the supplementary question? Is the supplementary, Madam Speaker, is the Foreign Minister saying to this Honourable House and by extension the people of Dominica that the names of persons who have been issued with diplomatic passports and assigned diplomatic rank on behalf of the Commonwealth of Dominica is not the business of the Parliament or the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica?
Sir, I think my answer is on record, and certainly if the leader of the opposition would like me to repeat what I just said, I can do so for his benefit. So, Madam Speaker, since the stenotypist did not get...
Point of objection, Madam Speaker.
There's no... point of objection is a new one for me.
No, but Madam Speaker, she's asking whether if I want...
Who is she?
The Foreign Minister is asking if I want to hear. I don't want to hear her explanation. I want the names of the people.
Can you
That's the
be
question.
a little more...
That's the question. The question was posed. She skirted the question.
We don't want a war in here. There is enough wars all over the world.
Can we have a little We're not in any war,
civility, please?
We're in a discussion about the people's business.
But the tone of voice must not indicate any kind of pugilistic attitude.
Madam Speaker, then let me put on my harp playing angelistic role.
Well, that would be so kind of you.
Let me put on my angel harp playing role now.
Thank you for your cooperation.
And to make the observation.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get you a copy of it because it's part of the record. It's part of the record, so it's not lost. Okay?
No, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm sorry. The question presented required the minister to disclose to this Honourable House, and by extension the people of Dominica, the names of the people in diplomatic engagements with diplomatic passports that have been serving the people of Dominica since 2000. I don't see anything unreasonable about that. Speaker, it's okay.
Can you just let me hear her point?
Sorry, Matt. There's a particular question that was posed by the leader of the opposition, which I have provided an answer to. We cannot change the question now that is before the House, and that is what the honourable leader has just chosen or attempted to do.
Question, please. For some reason, it was written as written request, but written for written response, but we put it as a oral response. Would you like an oral response? Is the minister able to give an oral response? You have so give it to the minister. Okay. This is our fault, that it went out to them as a written response, but it was really meant to be an oral response. Am I correct?
No.
It was a written response?
I asked for a written response, yes.
Okay, but would you be prepared to accept an oral response?
That is from your office. It says for written response.
Say that again. I am aware of that. I'm simply telling you that they were under the impression that it was for an oral or written response. The difference is this. If it is for an oral response, the minister will stand and read the response. If it is for a written response, it will be attached to the next set of minutes. Which is it for you?
What it is for me is what I requested, which is a written response.
Okay, then that's the end of questions then. Next item, please. Item 10.
Statement by ministers.
Item 11.
Introduction of bills.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled International Business Companies Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
International Business Company Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Tax Information Exchange Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Tax Information Exchange Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Value Added Tax Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded.
Value Added Tax Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled International Exempt Trust Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Madam Speaker.
International Exempt Trust Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled the Sexual Offences Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded.
Sexual Offences Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Companies Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded.
Companies Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled the Bail Act 2016 be read the first time.
Madam Speaker.
Bail Act 2016.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resource Development Act 2016.
Wait a while. I was supposed to say the bill has been read the first time because we're only reading it the first time. Is that correct? Okay. Go ahead then, please.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Geothermal Resources Development Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Geothermal Resources Development Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Tourism Regulation and Standards Amendment Act 2016 be read the first time.
Seconded.
Tourism Regulation and Standards Amendment Act 2016.
The bill has been read the first time.
Public Business, Government Business motion.
Supplementary estimates for expenditure for the financial year ending 30th June 2016. Be it resolved that this Honorable House approves the supplementary estimates of expenditure for the year 2015-2016 amounting to $103,886,083.25, the details of which are contained in the attached schedule.
Seconded.
Madam Speaker, the supplementary estimates totaling $103,886,083.25 being presented to this House today is in respect of advances made from the contingencies fund for the period July 2015 to June 2016. This presentation complies with Section 81 of the Commonwealth of Dominica Constitution Order 1978, as well as Section 12 of the Finance Administration Act No. 4 of 1994. These provisions allow the government the flexibility of incurring expenditure not originally approved in the annual budget where it is deemed necessary, and subsequently seeking approval of the Parliament for such spending. The details of the expenditure are as follows: 22.9% or $23,773,186.46 came from grants. 65.7% or $68,220,653.73 was met from local funds, and 11.4% or $11,892,243.06 was funded by loans. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Justice, Immigration and National Security received the sum of $3,407,194. Madam Speaker, on August 27, 2015, Dominica endured a devastating and traumatic experience by the passage of Tropical Storm Erica. In light of this, the government had to move swiftly to provide shelter and emergency supplies to persons who were adversely affected by the storm. In particular, residents of Petit Savan and Jubic and Kulibistri had to be relocated and arrangements made for their accommodation, since these areas were deemed unsafe for residential use. As such, emergency funds totaling $1,200,000 were approved for the above-mentioned purpose. Madam Speaker, the government is very grateful for the generosity of the international community, friendly governments, individuals, and all those who came to our aid in the aftermath of the storm. Madam Speaker, the sum of $31,178 was provided by the People's Republic of China for the purpose of providing training in search and rescue and in disaster risk management, while the Canadian High Commission provided $10,333 for affected residents as well. The Canadian Fund for Local Initiative also donated $89,927 to respond to humanitarian needs in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Erica. In addition to the above, Madam Speaker, the following amounts were approved from local resources for the said purposes as listed below. $59,945 was provided for procurement of a vehicle to be used by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, while an amount of $82,385 was required for procurement of a vehicle for providing ambulance services in the St. Joseph District. $115,000 was also approved to meet expenses under the Law Revision Commission project. $989,100 was required to meet payments to the Canadian Bank Note Company Limited representing scheduled payments for the Civil Registry Electronic Security System under the maintenance and support contract for the months of February 2015 to August 2015. $139,150 to meet cost of rent for offices at the Tropicrafts building for the period January 2016 to June 2016. $330,000 was required for the purchase of 3 vehicles for the police to enhance the effective delivery of services to the public. $93,500 was approved for the purchase of a vehicle for the use at the Registry Division to facilitate work at the High Court. $107,303 was required to make payment of damages to counsel and an attorney at law for legal representation of the client against the state. $159,383 required by the Office of Disaster Management to meet payments related to Tropical Storm Erica. Madam Speaker, the appropriation in respect to the Ministry of Trade, Energy and Employment was $6,254,379. Of these resources, $1,266,705 was donated by the Caribbean Development Fund, the CDF, to facilitate the acquisition of equipment for the multipurpose park houses. The government of Dominica also approved an amount of $178,733 from local resources to meet expenses associated with the clearing of multipurpose park house equipment. The equipment has since been installed and commissioned. Madam Speaker, under that same ministry, that is the Ministry of Trade, Energy and Employment, funding in the amount of $4,808,940 was provided under the Citizenship by Investment Program to finance the National Employment Program for the period January to June 2016. Madam Speaker, in respect of the Office of the Prime Minister, the overall sum of $1,495,569, Madam Speaker, was approved. This includes the following. $124,000 was approved for the purchase of a vehicle to be used by the Office of the Prime Minister. The sum of $82,396 was required for meeting expenses related to the state funerals of the deceased Dr. Nicholas J. O. Liverpool, Mr. Alan Guy, and Mr. Franklin A. M. Barra. $174,215 was also approved to meet expenses incurred for the hosting of the official visit of the Baroness Patrick of Scotland, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. $50,158 was required to meet expenses incurred for hosting of the 62nd meeting of the OECS Authority, held here in Dominica from 18th to the 19th November 2015. $1,008,328 was approved under the Public Support Program to meet various needs of the public. A sum of $56,471 was also approved in favor of the music professionals for training of musicians on the island, as per commitment to the music industry made in the budget address for the financial year 2015-2016. Madam Speaker, the sum of $529,419 was allocated to the Ministry of Finance. $500,000 was loaned to HHB Research and Company Limited to assist the firm in meeting some of its operational expenses. The loan is for a period of 5 years at an interest rate of 5%. An amount of $29,419,000 was also provided through grant funding from the OECS Secretariat to meet payments to enumerators for the 2015 Job Opening and Labor Market Turnovers Survey and Occupational Wage Survey. Madam Speaker, the appropriation in respect to the Ministry of Agriculture was $1,563,205 to meet the following. $300,000 was approved from local resources for providing emergency relief to fishermen affected by Tropical Storm Erica. $44,985 was provided by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, as a grant for activities relating to the improvement of disaster management in the agricultural sector. $95,850 was provided as a grant by the Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation to help with control of the red palm mite. $89,316 from local resources was provided to finance staff of the National Abattoir. $1,043,054 was approved for the improvement of an ice-making facility at the Marigot Fisheries Facility through grant funding from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Madam Speaker, in respect to the Ministry of Education, the sum of $2,786,311 was approved. $20,000 was donated by Barbados Cares to assist with repairs to the Coolibee Street Primary School following Tropical Storm Erica. $365,126 was donated by Corsa of Guadeloupe to repair the Daly's Primary School. An amount of $1,803,925 from the People's Republic of China was also approved to record expenditure under the Newtown Primary School. The sum of $251,860 was also approved from local resources for fencing and construction of a retaining wall in order to enhance the safety and security of students and staff of the Newtown Primary School. An amount of $345,400 was approved for the refurbishment of the Corleho Primary School. Madam Speaker, the sum of $7,814,845 was allocated and water resource management. The details are the following. An amount of $154,579 was required to settle outstanding commitments in respect to the West Coast Water Supply Project. This project is funded jointly by the Government of Dominica and the European Union with the view to significantly improve the water supply to residents along the west coast of Dominica. This improved water system will provide potable water to residents from Salisbury to Capuchin. $147,436 was also required to meet payment to FDL Consult Inc. for engineering consultancy on the third water supply project with a view to upgrading the water network in Water Area 1. An amount of $3,808,975 was approved to meet commitments under the House Renovation and Sanitation Program. An amount of $2,457,677 was also approved to pay for materials under the construction of low-income housing project. Madam Speaker, improving the quality of housing is a major policy of government and will continue to invest heavily in this sector. Madam Speaker, many families were left homeless in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Erica. Hence, alternate housing areas had to be identified for the relocation of the affected people. For that reason, $1,246,168 was approved under the National Resettlement Program to meet contractual obligations for work done on the resettlement site at Granby to house the Dubic residents. Madam Speaker, the sum of $8,222,689 was approved in favor of the Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs. Madam Speaker, Tropical Storm Erica left not only destruction in its wake, but death and displaced families as well. As such, the Government of Dominica, along with the help of financial aid for multilateral and bilateral development partners had to provide for the affected people in the following manner. $389,980 funded through the Citizenship by Investment program was given as assistance to farmers and small businesses in Lapland, Dalis, and Botica. $538,650 received from multi-donors was approved as displacement allowance for affected individuals for the months of January to March 2016. $4,267,988 also received from multi-donors went to assist families affected by Tropical Storm Erica as payments for rental of guest houses and private homes, and as assistance for complete and partial loss of personal items for the periods January 2016 to March 2016 and April to June 2016. Madam Speaker, the following community interventions and priority projects were also funded by the Government of Dominica, and undermentioned sums were approved accordingly. Dalis Village Council, $60,000 for small community interventions. St. Joseph Village Council, $278,745 for construction of washroom facilities for residents. Petit Soufriere, $50,000 for critical projects. Castle Bruce, $50,000 for critical works. Grand Bay constituency, $100,000 for works on Bala Park, and $43,342 for box culvert drainage on the Center Road. The Maho constituency, $521,546 for works on various projects in the Maho constituency. Bellevue Chopin, $100,000 for works on the Bellevue Chopin Village Road. The Lapland Village Council, $40,000 for small community projects. Under grants and contributions, the following amounts were also approved: $1,677,448 for urgent works in various communities. $25,000 for administrative expenses from May 2016 to June 2016 for the Passis Respite Center in Portsmouth, a home for special children. $80,000 for repairs to roads and assistance for the flower show at Girondel and Egliston. Madam Speaker, the sum of $1,763,792 was required by the Ministry of Health and the Environment. A total of $609,449 was spent to combat the Zika virus, while $254,343 was requested to pay the oncologists at the Princess Margaret Hospital. $900,000 was also approved for the payment of invoices for pharmaceutical and other medical supplies obtained. Madam Speaker, an amount of $628,933 was approved for the Ministry of Information, Science, Telecommunications, and Technology. $259,948 was provided by the Government of Dominica as its contribution to the construction works on the ICT Center for Excellence at Stock Farm. The Government of India contributed $368,985 in grant funds to provide software and equipment for the center. Madam Speaker, so far at this center, there are well over 92 registered students in the various components of the program at this ICT center. In respect to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Madam Speaker, the sum of $180,990 was approved. $26,990 was given as a grant by UNICEF to facilitate the project empowering adolescents with the capacity to train and educate their peers and the public on issues pertaining to young people. Madam Speaker, we recognize that our young people are a tremendous resource and will support their involvement in the broader community development process. Hence, the government of Dominica made the sum of $20,000 available to support the work of the National Youth Council, specifically to pay accrued rental fees for their offices. Madam Speaker, in an effort to preserve our culture, an amount of $144,000 was provided to assist in Carnival celebrations 2016 in various communities. Government recognizes the vital role played by small establishments in employment and income generation in the commercial sector. Consequently, additional resources were approved under the Ministry of Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development in the amount of $144,317 to provide relief to small businesses which suffered loss and damage from the effects of Tropical Storm Erica. Madam Speaker, the sum of $369,927 was approved on behalf of the Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and Investment. This was primarily to fund activities related to the preparation of a National Physical Development Plan for Dominica. Grant resources from the Caribbean Development Bank in the sum of $294,927 and counterpart funds from the Government of Dominica in the amount of $75,000 was approved for that purpose. Madam Speaker, the Establishment Department was allocated the sum of $1,971,281. An amount of $1,718,307 was required to meet commitments for telecommunication services. An additional $252,975 was also approved to meet shortfall in contractual obligations for janitorial and security services. Madam Speaker, the effects of climate change continue to impact negatively on the country's infrastructure and ultimately on the finances of the state. In this supplementary estimate, the Parliament is being asked to approve under the Ministry of Public Works and Ports an additional sum of $65,200,269 for rehabilitation and infrastructural works arising mainly due to torrential rainfall and to respond to the effects of Tropical Storm Erica. Madam Speaker, an amount of $12,095,188 from the resources received from multilateral and bilateral development partners were used in financing the immediate and emergency cleanup and rehabilitation. The government of Trinidad and Tobago also provided a grant of $1,201,863 for the procurement and installation of solar runway lights at the Douglas Chelsea Airport. Madam Speaker, I want to place on public record again my personal gratitude and that of the government and people of Dominica to the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago. An amount of $3,659,249 from the International Monetary Fund was also required to meet contractual obligations for financing of post-Erica emergency interventions, including such priorities as works in the Roseau Valley, along the West Coast, Loopbear, Grand Bay, Bacatel, and Castle Comfort. These projects are continuing in the fiscal year 2016-2017. Madam Speaker, again, I want to place on the record in this public forum our gratitude to the International Monetary Fund. They have always been very helpful to Dominica, and notwithstanding the criticism which the IMF may receive from time to time, they are among now, Madam Speaker, the fastest disburser of funds when countries like ours need them. In a matter of literally 48 hours, from a letter from the Prime Minister of Dominica, we have the funds from the International Monetary Fund. The government of Dominica also funded post-Erica emergency projects with resources from the Citizenship by Investment Program, amounting to $35,715,880 Including in this sum are the following amounts: $29,706,792 for rehabilitative works at the Douglas Childs Airport, post-Tropical Storm Erica; $382,796 for reconstruction of damaged fencing at the Douglas Childs Airport, post-Tropical Storm Erica. The balance of $5,626,292 was used for projects such as river dredging in various communities like Kulibistri, Castle Comfort, Laron, Pishley, river training in Roseau, and also the construction of the West Bridge. Road rehabilitation works in Dubla, Cochrane, Bells, and other communities. Madam Speaker, the Government of Dominica also provided $4,295,095 from local resources to finance regular road maintenance, including brush cutting and vegetation management, as well as other projects such as road rehabilitation works in Soufriere, Rodney Street, and Harbour Lane in Portsmouth. Madam Speaker, an amount of $6,850,618 given by the Agence Française de Développement as a loan was approved to record expenditure for the Roseau to Melville Hall road upgrade. The Caribbean Development Bank also provided loan funds amounting to $1,382,376 for expenses related to the cleanup operations which occurred after the torrential rainfall in December 2013. Finally, Madam Speaker, in respect to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the sum of $1,552,972 was approved. An amount of $106,579 was required to meet the cost of increases in rent and accommodation for government's permanent mission and consulate in New York. An amount of $1,161,994 was used to pay regional and international contributions, while $96,306 went towards Government of Dominica's contribution for the hosting of the CARICOM Heads meeting in Guyana. Madam Speaker, the Government of Korea also provided a grant to the Government of Dominica in the sum of $188,093 to purchase protocol vehicles, which will help greatly in providing and delivering efficient protocol services to our visiting dignitaries. Madam Speaker, without a doubt, the expenditures detailed on the attached schedule were made in the interest of the country's development. Madam Speaker, I can say, as we have been able to do here in the House, can account for every single cent of the taxpayers' money and that of international and regional partners. And we continue to stand the test of scrutiny, here locally, regionally, and internationally. And we have always passed the test with flying colors. Madam Speaker, with these words, I recommend for the approval of this Honorable House the supplementary estimates in the sum of $103,886,083.25. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The motion is now before the House for debate, and I would like for members to stand promptly. We have a long list of matters on our order paper so that we can get through them in a timely manner.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support the motion before the House. Madam Speaker, we have come here time and time again to go over this simple but important procedure. Madam Speaker, like I've always said, there are numerous times within the budgetary year when expenses not catered for have to be made. And I think there's no better example of that than last year when Tropical Storm Erica struck, and there were expenses that certainly had to be made. And thank God, Madam Speaker, we have the kind of management at the helm of this country that makes the expenses that are to be made possible, because we have the resources. Either we have them, Madam Speaker, or we have the friends who are always really ready, willing, and able to come to our assistance in time of need. And like the Prime Minister said, I too want to lend my voice, not only to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, but to all of the regional and international partners who have come to our assistance in time of need, as reflected in the supplementary appropriation, Madam Speaker. But more specifically, I would like, Madam Speaker, to lend my support and my voice to the establishment of the multipurpose pack houses. Madam Speaker, for years in Dominica, we have lamented about the quality of our produce on the international market. There is definitely the potential for Dominica to do more on the regional market, Madam Speaker. But we face increasing competition from other countries in the region. So take, for example, the Dominican Republic, to a lesser extent, places like St. Vincent and St. Lucia, Madam Speaker, continue to compete with us, first on the regional market, and we have to ensure that we give quality to our customers on the regional and on the international markets. And that is why the need for the multipurpose pack houses have become so important. And so, Madam Speaker, the monies that have been expended on the multipurpose pack houses will enhance our ability to put fresh produce on the regional and international market in the quality, the quantity, and the frequency at which the market demands. And so we ask our farmers to go out into the field and to concentrate on the production, and we in the Ministry of Trade will concentrate on the markets and also the readiness of our produce to be able to withstand the quality that is being required on the international market. And so there are a number of things that we have done to improve on that quality and to help the multipurpose pack houses in the delivery of quality fresh produce on the market. So for example, on the back end, we have the Bureau of Standards who have gone into the fields and have worked with select farmers with a view to upgrading the way that they harvest, the way that they manage their fields, the way that they plant, Mr. Speaker, what exactly it is you have to plant, in what quantities and at what frequency. And the Bureau of Standards have been helping with the whole certification process. Also too, you have Dexia, the Dominica Agency for Import and Exports, Mr. Speaker, who are in the middle of the chain managing the pack houses. So while we continue to ensure that we have the production on the back end with the farmers, Dexia, through the multipurpose pack houses, will ensure that we can accept what is produced and we can wash it, sort it, and pack it in a manner that will make it acceptable on the regional market. We have even gone further than that, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that there is fertilizer all year round in the country, in the amounts and at a cost at which the farmers can afford it, Mr. Speaker. Dexia is now storing and stocking fertilizer to be given at a reasonable price to the farmers around the country, not only for bananas, but for all the other crops, including the root crops, Mr. Speaker. So we're helping on the production side, and Dexia is helping also on the trading side, Mr. Speaker. And that is what will make the pack houses viable. That is what will make them efficient. So we have them up and running now, one in Portsmouth and one in Roseau. And we have also the Fresh Produce Act and the regulations in place so that farmers wishing to make produce available for export, and on the other end, hucksters wishing to obtain produce for export must go through a certified pack house in Dominica. And we're going through the sensitization process right now because we want to sensitize our farmers to use the pack houses, and we want to also sensitize our hucksters to come to the pack house where you will get a finished product. So instead of going into the fields and getting the produce, and you have to wash it, weigh it, sort it, pack it all by yourself, the pack house will provide that service so that you can have a quality product. And most of the hucksters and the boat owners who are themselves involved in the trade as hucksters come in on a Sunday or a Saturday and make a turnaround trip, Mr. Speaker, on Monday afternoon. So there's very little time for them to interface with the farmers in the field. And so the pack house is the ideal intermediary. The pack house is the ideal middle agent who can facilitate both the farmers by taking all of the produce off his hands, Mr. Speaker, and making it available to the hucksters and to the shippers in a condition, Mr. Speaker, that will be amenable to the regional and to the international market. So I definitely support all of the expenditure that has been made as far as the pack house is concerned. Of course, you know that we have even gone further in our quest to ensure that we provide quality produce on the regional and international markets, because you heard the Honorable Prime Minister in the budget a few months ago have said that $500,000 have been made available to boat owners to upgrade their products. So, for example, we have a number of vessels, Mr. Speaker, on the water right now, but they need to be upgraded. First, in terms of their cold storage equipment, because that is half of the problem. No matter what the farmers do in the field and what happens in the pack house, if the boats and the vessels themselves are not equipped to be able to transport the fresh produce in a manner that will allow it to reach the regional and international markets in a condition acceptable to be placed on those regional shelves, then all what we have done before throughout the chain is really defeated at the transportation end. So we're helping the boat owners to upgrade their equipment, really, because their boats are their equipment, through the placing of cold storage refrigeration onto those boats. And also, another aspect of the boats that need upgrading, Mr. Speaker, is a lot of those boats are second-hand boats that have been purchased from North America. And they used to be like trawlers, fishing trawlers before. But the captains here can get them at the prices that they can afford. But some of those boats not only need to be upgraded in their refrigeration system, but also their navigational equipment, because they will not be able to enter the regional ports if the navigation equipment is not up to speed. So that $500,000 will be made available to the boatmen through the NDFD, and the Ministry of Trade have entered an agreement and have placed the monies with the NDFD, who will set conditions to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that the monies are repaid, and so that we can have a revolving fund. So those monies can be made available from 1 year to the next, from when it is repaid by the first boat owner to be made available to other boat owners wishing to access that facility for their upgrade. So all of the navigational equipment needed on those boats, because if your navigation equipment is substandard, then the maritime authorities in the various islands will not allow you to enter with the fresh produce. So it has to be a collective, consolidated, holistic approach that we are using, from the farm gate to the plate, to the regional plate. That is what we are doing. So the multipurpose pack houses, which is really under the spotlight right now, is really one phase and one aspect in our effort to ensure that we can compete on the regional market. So I'm very happy for the monies being made available for the establishment of the multipurpose pack houses. And like I have just said, Mr. Speaker, the equipment has been installed, the employees have been selected, and they have been employed by the government of Dominica through Dexia. Both pack houses are operating, and in fact, we have hucksters and other shippers of fresh produce actually using the pack houses now, and the views that we have gotten from the hucksters have been tremendous and very encouraging. There's one young, very progressive huckster from the West Coast who does between 20 and 40,000 pounds of yams into Matnik on a weekly basis. And the first trial shipment that we did for him, we packed, washed, sort, packed, and weighed the stuff. And it was very encouraging. And he, in fact, indicated to us that that would enhance his ability to get other supermarkets in Matnik on board. And so that is what we want to do in every single market, both south and north of Dominica. Even with the facility that we are putting in place for the boats, the $500,000, we want to be able to be in a position to influence the routes of those boats to ensure that all our markets are covered. So we don't want all the boats going northwards. For example, Antigua, Anguilla, St. Martin, all the way up to St. Thomas and the BVI, Totola. We would like to be able to use all of the boats on the water right now to service all our markets, even southwards. We have markets in Matnik, in Barbados. Mr. Speaker, Dexia has in fact shipped containers through an arrangement we have with Propel into Barbados, and we are also looking at the St. Lucia markets and ultimately the Trinidadian market. But the pack house will be key for us to be able to not only achieve quality of our fresh produce, but to maintain that quality and to maintain and to grow our market share on the regional and international market. So I'm very happy for that, and I support it wholeheartedly, Mr. Speaker. I move on now to the National Employment Program. And the National Employment Program is a flagship program of this government. One thing that the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and this government will be remembered for 20 and 30 years from now, when we are long gone, Mr. Speaker, is our social programs. And not one of those social programs have been cut because of Tropical Storm Erica. $1.2 billion in damages. And not one of those social programs have been cut, Mr. Speaker, from the Yes We Care to the NEP to the 70 and over. I mean, you name it, the school transfer grant, the school books, all of these social programs in healthcare, Mr. Speaker, free healthcare for those 60 and over and 16 and below. All of those programs have been maintained. And the flagship of all of our social programs, the shining star, in my opinion, other members of Parliament may have other opinions as to which of those programs really is the flagship of the government's social programs. And I believe that the National Employment Program has really been a shining example of the innovativeness of this government, Mr. Speaker, and have really arrested the unemployment problem in the country. And I mean, I don't want to digress, Mr. Speaker, but that's why I felt that when the leader of the opposition started this morning, he sort of alluded, Mr. Speaker, to the state of the economy and the nature of the question of unemployment. And I don't see it, because every single person in Dominica today who wants to work is employed, Mr. Speaker, either under the National Employment Program or employed in the public service or in the private sector. And, Mr. Speaker, with the creation of further investments like the Kapinski Hotel, like the Moroccan Hotel, which is continuing now, like, Mr. Speaker, the hotel to come in Salisbury, and they want to come in Soufriere, Mr. Speaker, that will further enhance, Mr. Speaker, the state of employment in the country. So the NEP continues to be one of the shining examples of this government. And the face of the NEP really is our national beautification and cleanup component. And you can see there is a marked difference in and around the country, Mr. Speaker, with the work that our interns continue to do. And I commend all of the interns. I drive up and down the West Coast on a daily basis to come to work from Portsmouth. And I really want to commend all of the interns from Portsmouth coming all the way up into Roseau. And I'm being told by my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, on the East Coast and on the other areas, that the NEP interns in our beautification and cleanup campaign are doing a tremendous and a fantastic job throughout the country, Mr. Speaker. In the other areas of the NEP, like those in the private sector, I told you in the budget, Mr. Speaker, that in the area, about $7 million is being pumped into the private sector by way of the payments of salaries and wages to persons in the private sector. I don't need your protection, Mr. Speaker, but just to tell the younger parliamentarian and myself, to give you some words of advice, that your asides must really be underneath and not really a back and forth in the parliament, because it's really discourteous to really be over the voice of a presenter when presenting. Just some words of advice for you. So, Mr. Speaker, we continue. We have innovative programs like our 50-50 program, where we contribute to the salaries of our interns in the private sector. The employers who cannot meet all of the salaries, we meet them halfway by contributing 50% to the salaries of those interns. So we're very happy about the way that our program is progressing. In housing and sanitation, again, to my mind, another social program, really, quote-unquote, social program of this government, Mr. Speaker. And even before the United Nations decided to launch their attack, Mr. Speaker, on the sanitation or on washrooms, the government of Dominica had already led the way in the eradication of pit latrines, Mr. Speaker. That is a testament, Mr. Speaker, to the work of this government. Whether you want to accept it or not, Mr. Speaker, the facts are the facts. And before the United Nations launched the attack on the eradication of pit latrines, the government of Dominica had already implemented, Mr. Speaker, that idea in Dominica. And that has been making tremendous difference in the lives of persons all over Dominica. When I go to my constituency, Mr. Speaker, and first of all, the people showed the gratitude for, especially the elderly, Mr. Speaker, the elderly who cannot afford to get up in the night and go outside, because some of them had their outhouses, their quote-unquote latrines, as we call them, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes in the rain, some people used to have their utensils under their bed, Mr. Speaker. The government of Dominica, and that really is reflective of our founding leader Edward Oliver Leblanc. That reminds me of the Labour Party years ago, because we have always had, Mr. Speaker, a soft spot for those less fortunate. And that is what the washroom program is really showing. When I visit my constituency and the gratitude that the people show, the recipients of those washrooms, and also it creates employment, because I have a whole host of contractors employing a number of young people. And these young people are gaining the skill of carpentry, of masonry, of plumbing, and of electricals, even in that program. And I'm very happy, I can tell you safely, if the guys continue with their work ethic the way that they're doing right now, I would certainly say by the end of the year, if not by January, February, I would have eradicated every single pit latrine in my constituency. And we're very happy about that. So the money is being spent here. Even if we are coming for permission after the fact, I would expect every single member of parliament to support an initiative like that. This is not an initiative that needs any division in the House. This is not an initiative that requires that we are partisan about it. This is an initiative that touches the hearts of our people who we represent. And I think we should stand really as exemplary politicians and representatives of persons who have really benefited from this initiative and really support the motion. I don't anticipate that we would have any dissenting voice, Mr. Speaker, on some of the on the supplementary appropriation, and more particularly on issues like the sanitation program we have here that I'm speaking of right now, Mr. Speaker. And I hope that it will be supported by every member in this House. Again, before I take my seat, I would again like to commend the government on the work that we are doing for another aspect of less fortunate people in our community, the disabled, the challenged ones. Because some of those mothers are burdened with the care of their challenged children. Children that they really have to stay home and look after. They cannot go out and seek gainful employment because these challenged children are really, or before the establishment of the center, would have been housebound. So they would have to be homeschooled, home trained, they would have to be fed. I myself, Mr. Speaker, am a father of challenged children, so I know the kind of burden that it places on mothers for the care and the maintenance on a daily basis of these children. And we welcome the Patches Respite Center in Chance in Portsmouth. And I have already told my constituents that the care and maintenance and the upkeep of that facility, not a building, really, it's a facility, because the building goes with the services that will be offered at that facility. That's why I term it a facility. We ourselves, not only in the Chance area, but all around Portsmouth and the north of Dominica, and ultimately every single citizen of the country, Mr. Speaker, must really get involved in that project. And that, again, is another step in the right direction, because you remember years ago, we constructed and staffed the building at Jimit, which is another center for the chances at Jimit. So this government continues to spend money on worthwhile, worthy ventures. In my opinion, things that should be done 20 years ago, this government now is engaged in doing these things, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the country. And we are only able to do those things now because the country is on a right footing. The economy is on a sound footing. Monies are being generated from innovative schemes like the Citizenship by Investment program, so that we can continue to invest in the lives of our people. Mr. Speaker, I don't see any difficulty with the supplementary appropriation. I believe every single constituency and community around Dominica has been touched by the supplementary appropriation, and it leaves me with no other alternative but to support the measure before this honorable House. I thank you very much. We know that. We know that. We know that. Yes.
If it is a government member or even an opposition member whose motion or bill is on the floor and members are not rising in a timely manner, in the case of governments, a minister can wind up. So please be aware of that and let us move on, please. Continue. So you may.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Not continue, Madam Speaker. Start. Start. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Douglas, you have asked us to all support this estimate. But in yes,
members,
but this
yes,
estimate,
always
this
you address
estimate,
the chair.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Good.
Okay. Yes, Madam Speaker. But this estimate, I noticed, forgot about a community that's located on the northeast of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Wesley Woodford Hill Palm Tree community, because throughout this estimate of $103 million, I would like to draw to the attention of the cabinet members and ask them if they're comfortable with that nowhere in the estimate have you heard mention of the Wesley Woodford Hill constituency. And I say that's a shame. What are you asking the people to do? What are you begging the people to do? That cannot be fair. It is not fair. It is not right. And I would like to start by the Madam Speaker. I want to speak to this matter before this Honorable House, which is a supplementary estimate for the period 2015-2016. That's 1 year supplementary estimate, which is the appropriation, which is, Madam Speaker, very different to what this country is accustomed to. However, we know what the excuse is going to be. Tropical Storm Erica, acceptable, and we haven't got any problem with that. A while ago, your colleague was telling the younger members that they should keep quiet. I expect someone with experience to know better than that.
Who's that? From where? The member from Lapland?
So, Madam Speaker...
You might want to tell members on your side the same thing.
Madam Speaker... Okay. Okay, Madam Speaker, I don't know if it is prudent and right that after having spent monies for 1 year, that this government is only now coming to this House to seek approval. I mean, is it disrespect for the Parliament? Is it disrespect for the rule of law? Since it is required, Madam Speaker, that you should seek approval for supplementary appropriation as soon as possible. In my own mind, 1 year after is not coming across to me to be soon. As a matter of fact, we have already passed the 2016-2017 budget. And now we are here speaking of 2015-2016 appropriation. Madam Speaker, I am saying that today we really should be looking at the last quarter of that period, Madam Speaker, and not the first quarter. I'm saying that I don't think that this is reasonable. But the question is, are we serious about this Parliament? Are we serious about this country? Are we taking the Parliament to make a joke, Madam Speaker? Are we taking this place to make a joke? Are we just coming here for procedural reasons? And if such is the case, Madam Speaker, why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our time? It is not coming across to me to be fair to the parliamentary opposition if you're expecting us, Madam Speaker, to come to this House and meaningfully discuss items as the supplementary appropriation, but we are doing it 1 year and months after the end of the budget in question, budget period in question. We hear cry for bipartisan approach from all quarters, Madam Speaker. But we speak of bipartisan approach. Are we serious about it? How are we going to speak of bipartisan approach, Madam Speaker, when 1 year after we are here? How are we going to speak of bipartisan approach, Madam Speaker, when we have serious bills as the bail bill, geothermal resource, Sexual Offences Act, the Tourism Act, Madam Speaker, major amendments to that, Madam Speaker, we have it, but we are having the first, second, and third reading in one Parliament, and you're asking me to be part of a bipartisan approach on these major bills. I'm saying, Madam Speaker, that's unreasonable. That's unreasonable. I would like us to be taking those positions, but I can't. I can't come here, Madam Speaker, and be a hypocrite when you listen to the first, second, and third reading of a bill. We had not had an opportunity to contribute to it, to give us suggestions, Madam Speaker, and then you ask me to take a bipartisan approach. I say, no, this is not making any sense. No, Honourable Minister, I did not say that. I am saying if you would like the opposition to be contributing to these bills, allow us an opportunity. Allow us an opportunity to contribute. I am not saying that you... Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Okay. So, Madam Speaker, I'm saying that if we're looking for bipartisan approach, let us be practical, let us be real. Okay, if not, just as we did with the national park, where we place it into the hands of the president to make a decision, then we could go to simply amend the laws to give cabinet the authority to change the laws when they want to do that through cabinet. Let us be reasonable, let us be practical, let us be fair, and let us make some sense, Madam Speaker, with respect to what we are doing for this country. I mean, the question is, the amounts of 103 million, is it abnormal? I doubt that. We have seen 15 years of the way that this government has been managing the economy. And there's nothing that is striking in here to me, Madam Speaker. The question though is, with respect to this appropriation and Tropical Storm Erika, could we have done better? That's what the question is. For example, should we have gone back to Parliament right after Tropical Storm Erika and make some amendments to the 1-month-old budget? Should we have gone at that stage? I think we should. The suggestion came up. It was ignored. Maybe had we done that, we would not have had this humongous appropriation that we have in this situation. Question, Madam Speaker. Did this government act in good faith and in good common practice as expected by any government after disaster? And I'm referring to Madam Speaker, that after disaster, the standard thing is that a government is going to step back in favor of institutions that are better suited for the task. That is what you expect, Madam Speaker, in any country. After disaster, government step back, and it allows the movement, Madam Speaker, for major things in favor of the institutions that are more suited for the task, while as a government, Madam Speaker, they seek to maintain and enforce the rule of law and provide public goods. That is what would be expected. The other thing, Madam Speaker, did this government apply a rational choice? Okay? And that is taking a decision, Madam Speaker, with the option that we get the greatest excess, Madam Speaker, of benefit over cost. But that would only happen if the government steps back and allows the institutions that are best suited for the job to execute the work. Then we would have achieved that, Madam Speaker. Failure to which we would see things like what is happening in here. This supplementary estimate, Madam Speaker, of $103 million represents 17.5% of the 2015-2016 annual budget. That's high. That's high. Okay? It's a large sum, Madam Speaker, but of course we understand why. We understand why. It is a record, but Tropical Storm Erika. So we understand why. The question is, how did it benefit the nation, or did it benefit the nation at all? The question, Madam Speaker, is, we have had a number of pledges. Did we receive all the pledges, Madam Speaker, from the countries? We have not heard about that. How much have we received? We need to know. Are there outstanding pledges from Tropical Storm Erika? If the ministers have the answers, we are in the place that we can answer these questions, Madam Speaker. We have noticed multi-donors. What's multi-donors? The people who have contributed, they're by groups, they have names, Madam Speaker. Let us know, Madam Speaker, who are the persons that are contributing where. What are we hiding? Madam Speaker, we need to seriously embark, Madam Speaker, on how are we going to move forward with this country. We have listened to the news, and we are aware, Madam Speaker, that after any disaster, the first thing you want to do as a nation is to feed the citizens of the country. Food security is paramount. We have recently heard CARICOM, Madam Speaker, echo that call to Haiti following the passage of Tropical Storm Matthew. They need to get back to the stage where they can feed their people. As a matter of fact, the call came from our Prime Minister, the chairman of CARICOM.
Interesting.
That we need to get back to the stage that we can feed, that they can feed their people. The question is, as a nation in Dominica, did we do the same? That's what the question is, Madam Speaker. And I'm asking this question, Madam Speaker, because in this supplementary estimate, out of $103 million, 1.5 million, Madam Speaker, was assigned to agriculture. That's how we feed our people. That is 1.4%, Madam Speaker, of the $102.8 million, okay, which went to agriculture. Of this 1.5%, an amount of $1.3 million. So out of the 1.3 million went to a single item, which was the Marigot Fishery Complex, and that I support because it is needed. It is needed, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, as we speak, as we speak, Madam Speaker, of what went to fisheries, and I listened to the Honorable Minister a while ago as he lamented the fact that hundreds of millions of dollars are made available for the fisher folks. I dare say, Madam Speaker, what is wrong with the fishermen of Wesley and Woodford Hill that they were not included, Madam Speaker, and they did not receive the benefits, Madam Speaker, that the rest of the country, Madam Speaker, have been receiving? And I'm not speaking out of a vacuum. I'm not speaking out of a vacuum, Madam Speaker, because the MB Abigail, Madam Speaker, the MV Abigail, which comes from the constituency, which are moving tons of product, Madam Speaker, who applied for assistance to assist to retrofit their boat, that was removed from the list of persons who are going to receive assistance. That's a statement of fact. Why? Simply because you have the opinion, you're thinking that the person may not be. It cannot be about supporting a government. It has to be about growing the country. You cannot be victimizing persons and remove their names, Madam Speaker. If they don't have the need, then they should not get it. When the need is apparent, Madam Speaker, I see absolutely no reason why persons from the Wesley, Woodford Hill, Palm Tree area should not enjoy the benefit as every other Dominican. We are working with the Ministry of Agriculture. As a matter of fact, I spoke to the minister just the other day as we put together a forum, Honorable Douglas, and he supported the forum in Woodford Hill, where we brought together Aid Bank, the Banana Unit, Extension Unit, and Dexia, which represented the ministry, and he supported it. I am saying, if you're supporting these type of initiatives, and I thank you, Honorable Minister, if you're supporting this type of initiatives, you expect production. And if you expect production, we must be willing to support the production. So sidelining the people of Western Woodford Hill is not going to help. And I am saying that it is not right, and we need to do better than that. As a matter of fact, only $200,000 out of that supplementary, Madam Speaker, went towards crop production. 200,000. Are we serious about feeding our people? Are we serious about food security? It's not coming, to me, it's not real. When we're on the radio speaking of, look at the number of farmers you have in Dominica, and we boast about 12 tillers. I mean, come on, are we serious about that? Let us take the agricultural industry seriously, and let us work towards the growth and development of the industry, Madam Speaker. After Tropical Storm, Madam Speaker, the farmers received major losses. They have lost their crops. They had major slides, Madam Speaker. They lost the crops, and the crops were washed away. We had situation where landslides took the crops. The soil, Madam Speaker, was properly leached, Madam Speaker. And some of the roads to the farms were shut off. Of course, with little support to the banana farmers, Black Sigatoka had its way, and the rest is history, Madam Speaker. I saw little attention, very little attention, and I was wondering if I was dreaming, but the reality is here in the figures now that very little attention was paid to the farmers of Dominica and to the farmers especially of Wesley, Woodford Hill, and Palm Tree. I went through the Simpa area after the storms, Madam Speaker. I went through Joe, Monramie, Mango Gutter. I visited farms like Leslie Sando and people like Pam and Lynn, female farmers, Madam Speaker, and Edith, who have been contributing significantly to the agriculture industry, Madam Speaker. But we had nothing coming from the state in an effort to support them. One constituency can get $390,000. One constituency. What is happening? What's happening, Madam Speaker, to the areas in the Wesley, Woodford Hill, Palm Tree? I'm of the opinion that the government abandoned the farmers, and Black Sigatoka had its way. But I invite the ministers, Madam Speaker, especially the Minister of Agriculture, to take a little time and come to the Wesley Woodford Hill constituency. Even the demonstration farms, which are supposed to be taken care of by the state and other organizations, Madam Speaker, Black Sigatoka wiping them off. Well, of course, it is not encouraging to the farmers, because if the demonstration farms are Black Sigatoka, what should the farmers expect for themselves? I'm saying we can do better than that. We can do better than that, Madam Speaker. From the tropical storm Erika, we had only one tranche of fertilizer, Madam Speaker, that have been issued to the farmers. But even with that one tranche of fertilizer, Madam Speaker, you had in Wesley and Woodford Hill, the distribution was politicized. And I'm saying, Madam Speaker, let us get politics out of certain things. Let us take it out of the agriculture industry, because it won't be good. And I heard the minister this morning, and I'm agreeing with him. Let us remove agriculture from certain things if we are going to grow this economy. Okay? I mean, up to today, Madam Speaker, the single tranche of fertilizer that the farmers received, they had to pay for it. But when I go to the registry for a birth certificate for $5 and $10, Madam Speaker, I'm issued with a receipt. But the farmers in Western Woodford Hill had to pay monies with no receipt. Madam Speaker, with no receipt. And I'm still saying the farmers need to know, Madam Speaker, where the money went to. The soils, Madam Speaker, have been leached, Madam Speaker. You know, we have serious situation, Madam Speaker, where this soil lost the nutrients. The soil lost the nutrients, Madam Speaker. So the fertilizer is needed. It is painful, Madam Speaker, when the EU and the Moroccan government seek to provide fertilizer to this government and to the people of Dominica to enhance the farm production, Madam Speaker. And according to the minister, they store it. They store it, Madam Speaker, in bulk. It is not supposed to be stored in bulk. You cannot be storing fertilizer. Fertilizer is no good if you don't spread it. You must spread it. So it is not right. It is not right. I mean, you know, a farmer asked me the other day, a farmer was coming from town the other day, and he purchased some fertilizer, and he said, I said, what do you think? Are they holding the fertilizer so the friends can sell what they have? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I still do not want to think that honest people would be that dishonest. I am hoping that that is not the case. Big men would not do something like that to the farmers of this country, Madam Speaker, because we understand what these farmers are going through. Okay? We have spray oil, Dominica, just like the fertilizer, Madam Speaker. Spray oil locked up on the port, spray oil locked up in Marigot. Why is black cigatoka killing the farmers? For heaven's sake. For heaven's sake. Let us be real. The last set of cycles that this government, that the Ministry of Agriculture have been issuing for spraying black cigatoka is 2 months. Yellow cigatoka, Madam Speaker, yellow cigatoka need 14 to 28 days. At least give the farmers a 1 month cycle in the initial stage until we can do better. But I think we can do better. If there was no chemicals, I understand. But the chemical is available. What's the excuse? What's the excuse? Why are we crucifying the farmers? Why are we doing that to the farmers? I'm calling on this government. Are you not Pharaoh? Let the fertilizer go. Let the fertilizer go. Let go, Madam Speaker. Let go the chemicals. The farmers are crying. And I must do that here today. Because when I'm in the constituency, that's what I'm hearing from the farmers. And my duty is to bring it. I'm not in cabinet, so I have to bring it to Parliament. Let go the fertilizer so the farmers, let go the chemicals so the farmers, Madam Speaker, can enjoy the benefit of what the EU intended. I am convinced that the EU and the national authorizing officers are not comfortable if they know that they're going to become aware of what is happening in the situation. I would hate the government to allow themselves to reach the stage where the EU would have to investigate this matter. I would hate that they would want us to. Madam Speaker, is this clock working well? No? Okay?
Oh, sorry,
So-
sorry. You're right.
Yeah, I'm very right, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. I feel good when you tell me I'm right. Okay? So, Madam Speaker, it is needed because when you drive through the constituency, Madam Speaker, you're seeing banana trees with 2 leaves. Because the banana farmers are doing what they're supposed to do. They're de-leafing. So, as they continue to de-leaf, the black cigatoka continue to give them blows, but there's no fertilizer, so the plants cannot, Madam Speaker, do as well as we would like them to do. Now, I understand, Madam Speaker, that to draw down, because the EU provided fertilizer, they provided the chemicals, and they're also providing some funds for servicing the landsmen. And I understand that will take some time to draw down. But I have a suggestion. Why can't the country put some funds together, pay the men, so the spraying can continue? And when you draw down, you hold the money. That is a simple thing. It's a basic business practice that any business person is going to do. Let us do it so that we can get, Madam Speaker, the regular spraying that is required. We have the plantless, Madam Speaker, the banana plantless that was provided to the farmers. We have the fertilizer, we have the chemicals, and we have the monies to service the landsmen. The government simply had to manage. That's what the government had to do, manage. But the government failed. The government failed. I'm renewing the call on the government, Madam Speaker, to compensate the farmers who were given the tissue cultured plants. Compensate the farmers, because these farmers, Madam Speaker, did what they had to do. The EU did what it had to do. At the end of the day, the farmers were the ones who received the loss. And I'm saying, with good conscience, the government failed. And with good conscience, allow the farmers some type of compensation that would really take care of them. I'm calling on the government, Madam Speaker, again, that following tropical storm Matthew, the farmers again took another blow. And I'm calling on the government to seek to allow some subsidy, Madam Speaker, to these farmers, please. The farmers need it. I'm onto the farm, and the farmers are struggling. They don't know where to turn. Black Sea got talk on them, government on them, Matthew on them. My God, Madam Speaker.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you are being tedious and repetitive.
No, Madam Speaker, I'm only now speaking about that. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about before. I'm keeping notes.
Oh, you're keeping notes.
Okay,
Madam Speaker. Well, let's move on, Madam Speaker, because I haven't got much time. So I want to make sure that we get to the... Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have noticed that 139,000... I'll get off agriculture, Madam Speaker. I know sometimes you do like to hear about the farmers. But it's all right. I'll get out of agriculture. Let me move on to... Ministry of Justice. They have received $139,000. That went towards the, what do you call it? This hall on the other side here. Everything is hall for justice. But that's about $23,000 a month. In 2008, a decision was taken to purchase the former Dominica club. And the intention was to place there, Madam Speaker, the Dominica Hall of Justice. I think it is time that the government needs to inform the people of Dominica what is the status on that. I mean, could we pay this $23,000 and maybe a little more towards the new facility in the form of a loan? Can we negotiate that? Because whilst we are paying this $23,000, we are still without the Hall of Justice. Some move, Madam Speaker, need to be made on that. I'm also a Madam Speaker, in 2015, the Financial Secretary had serious concern with cost overrun from $150,000 to $400,000 on this building on the other side, where we are now paying $23,000 for. My understanding is that part of this cost overrun was supposed to have been the burden of the landlord. I need to know, is it that now they have taken care of that burden and we are now paying them? We need to know. And I mean, sometimes maybe as the minister even don't want to ask, so I'm asking for him. I'm reminding him because I'm certain that when he leaves here, he's going to go back, check his notes, and he's going to ask about this thing because, Madam Speaker, it's important. And Mr. Minister, please, $300,000 to the police in vehicles, I support you. And I remember at Calabishi, when you indicated that you're going to provide vehicles to the police officers. You have my full support on that. But it's over 6 months now that the Wesley Police Station is without transportation. It's a large district. The policemen are suffering. The police have been doing a good job. We cannot question that in the Wesley constituency. The police have been doing a good job, but when we start to tie their hands and we start to limit their mobility, Mr. Minister, we are not certain what is going to happen. I am saying it is just about time that the Wesley Police Station would require. And I'm hoping that when I have confidence in you on that one, Mr. Minister, that when you address, you go to this house, you're going to tell the policemen of Wesley that the vehicle, just as you did in Calabishi, that the vehicle will be coming in less than a month or two. So I place that in your hands. I place that in your hands. And I look forward to it. The NEP, $4.8 million, Madam Speaker, in the supplementary for the NEP. But we have people, now, if you are increasing the amounts, I would really expect you to be increasing the numbers or maintaining the numbers. But we have people like Mindy and Lucille, Madam Speaker, and Master Key. Madam Speaker, people that were sent home from the NEP, and they told them, go let Basil find work for you. Okay? So how are we seeing an increase? How are we seeing an increase in the expenditure, Madam Speaker? But the people of... So you understand why now West 714 is not on the estimate. We understand why now. They're sending the people home when there's an increase, Madam Speaker, in the amount. And I'm saying, it is not right. It is not fair. Okay, I'll tell them so for you, Honorable Daru. You said that the people of Wesley will not
you have 3 minutes left. No, that time is right. Eh?
I disagree. Wesley and Woodford Hill people are hardworking people. And Palm Tree, extremely hardworking people. So I totally disagree with you, sir. I'm asking you, please, can you reconsider your position on that? I noticed the minister said that the young people in Dominica that are not working is because they do not want to work. Mr. Minister, I'm going to give you my commitment. I will be bringing you a list of persons from Wesley, Woodford Hill, and Palm Tree who are willing to work. All I want from you is your commitment to employ them. That's all I need from you, your commitment to employ them. But I will provide, well, the NEP is financed by the state. It is financed by the state. And once it is financed by the state, the people of Wesley, Woodford Hill, and Palm Tree are entitled to the similar benefits as every other person within the Commonwealth of Dominica. Okay? So, Madam Speaker, as we move on, I have a question. And this question is really not for the ministers of government, nor is it, I wouldn't ask you that question, Madam Speaker. It is for the unemployed young Dominicans, for the students who graduated and cannot find work, those who are looking at me now, and those who are graduating today. It is for the students who did extremely well in the CXC last year, and having done that, Madam Speaker, they decide to go to areas of higher learning outside of the state college and have not been able to receive the support that one would expect them to receive. To the small business people who are struggling, the question, Madam Speaker, are you satisfied that the state of Dominica took from the taxpayers' money $174,733 for 1 day of whining and dining and partying with the Baroness Patricia Scotland? This was the value of 1 day's activity, Madam Speaker, and I'm asking these people.
Excuse me, names that need not be mentioned ought not to be mentioned. Eh?
No, Madam Speaker, I only mentioned because I saw it in here.
Okay.
That's the only reason I mentioned it.
I'm just giving you a general
Madam Speaker,
rule.
I'm agreeing with you totally, but I only mentioned it because it was in here. Okay? So I'm saying, Madam Speaker, this is the question that I'm asking to the young people, Madam Speaker. Why is that happening? The school feeding program in most of the primary schools are at a halt. The Woodford Hill Primary School, the counters at the Woodford Hill Primary School, Madam Speaker, is in a deplorable state. Okay? I was there last week. The teachers are struggling down there. Madam Speaker, they have made a request. Requests have been made, Madam Speaker.
Your time is up.
Sorry?
Your time is up.
Madam Speaker, we're asking for you to give the honorable member for Wesley 5 more minutes to complete his presentation.
Seconded.
It has been moved and seconded that the member for Wesley be given a further 5 minutes to complete his contribution. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Continue.
Thank you, honorable members on the other side. I will also vote for extra time for you.
Yeah, you're so generous.
So, yes, Madam Speaker. Okay? So, Madam Speaker, I'm saying that taxpayers would be concerned and very concerned about how the monies are being spent. I want to place on record, Madam Speaker, for the training. I think that's good. That's good, Madam Speaker. What I would like to see is that there's a continued program. I would hate to think that they're doing this portion and they're going to stop. I want to see this program continue, and I want to encourage them to have a complete program, submit it to the government, and if they're asking for one opposition member to support it, I am right there. I would support it, Madam Speaker. So I'd like to encourage them to do that. Because we must build our culture and we must build our musicians. We cannot not recall, Madam Speaker, when we are seeing this item, the World Creole Music Festival and the importance of the World Creole Music Festival to Dominica. Let's not forget, Madam Speaker, that was a brainchild of the United Workers' Party, Madam Speaker. And it is here today. And I am happy that the government adopted it as their own and are continuing with it and are putting some monies behind it. I want to say that that is the way that we are supposed to go. And I want to commend the leadership of the United Workers' Party at the time for taking the initiative to do this. I'm also happy to see, Madam Speaker, that the state moved towards bailing out a company that is over 100 years old in Dominica. I support that. I support that. But once again, it's breaking record. This company survived the Olibla, survived Patrick John, survived Eugenia Charles, survived Edison James, but it couldn't survive the Labour Party. It could not. But I support it. I support it. It's an entity that have been there supporting the employed persons or unemployed persons of Dominica. From time to time, they go ahead, Madam Speaker. The only issues, Madam Speaker, that I want to know whether this amount is a grant or whether it's a loan. Okay? Because it says contribution and grant. Then it says loan. I really would like to suggest that this thing, if it's a loan, is removed. I mean, let us be real. We must help. It's not the only country that's bailing out companies that are challenged. We see that around the world. And we cannot question whether that company in question have been contributing to the economy. And that's why I'm supporting it. Except that, Madam Speaker, I really don't know if we want to have this as a loan. I think we really should just close our eyes. We have done, we have given to other institutions, we have given to the churches, we have given here, we have given there. Let us give, Madam Speaker, to this institution as well. Freely give, freely you shall receive. So I want to commend the government on that, Madam Speaker. $62.5 million disbursed under the Ministry of Public Works and Ports. But I noticed, Madam Speaker, inadvertently, deliberately, out of wickedness, intentionally, Wesley Woodford Hill constituency was mentioned. No, the roads, Madam Speaker, in the village of Woodford Hill, the worst I have ever seen it. The worst I've ever seen it. Madam Speaker, come on, Amanda. The worst I've ever seen it, Madam Speaker, in the history.
Your time is up.
Oh, so, Madam Speaker, should I put up the mic and sit, or can I just wind up this point?
Your time is up means you complete your sentence and you sit.
Okay, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker.
No commas.
Sorry?
No commas.
Oh, Madam Speaker, I'm good there. I'm an insurance man, we can do it. Okay, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, the road is extremely bad in that area. We are hoping, Madam Speaker, that the social services will again look at Sharon Benjamin. Okay, Sharon Benjamin, Madam Speaker, was removed. A lady who is deaf and dumb was removed from the. Let me just say, Madam Speaker, she was removed on the list of persons who are receiving benefits from the state after the 2014 election, Madam Speaker. And I would like, yes, she was removed. And I would like to be able to ask the Minister to please look into that, and I would like to give you some more information. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the other members for 5 minutes.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House be suspended until 3:30.
Seconded.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable House be suspended until 3:30 this afternoon. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. This Honorable House stands suspended until 3:30 this afternoon.
Madam Speaker.
They're mad. Even. I don't call them. That makes sense. We're not here to compromise anybody. I want to compromise. I don't want to compromise.